This episode of the How'd You Like That Movie podcast is presented by Dazit, because that's how you should fucking pronounce it. Because we're talking movies, we're talking Creed 3, starring Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors, written by Keegan Kugler and Zach Balin, and directed by Michael B. Jordan. Kris, it's not only about power, it's time, it's speed.
We can't hide your flaws, but we can make them your strengths. Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of How'd You Like That Movie? We're going to be talking about the forgettable film in a forgettable franchise, Creed 3. Ding, ding, ding. Hey Scott, I'm assuming that from that intro, you can already tell my general feelings on this film and this franchise. So Scott, why don't you take us away?
Well, before we start, let's have an acknowledgement. Kris is nominated for the Berners Adams Award. He nominated himself and got accepted. It was very good of them to, nominate an award for Cambridge residents here, and there's not many in the performing arts visual.
The award is in Cambridge, right?
Yeah, for Cambridge residents.
It's a Cambridge award for people in Cambridge for performing arts. Yes.
Yeah. So the fact that Kris just nominated himself instead of fake nominating the podcast for this award, he could have been a 2-time winner. But it goes to show that Kris only thinks about himself.
Listen, I've got a bad history of 2-timing, so I didn't want to keep it up, and now I can't keep it up. So that's why I don't 2-time anymore.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Let's get into the Creed 3 flick here.
Yeah, so I just want to start with the question. So, Kris, are you jealous of Michael B. Jordan directing this? Is this why you don't like this film?
I'm actually not a big fan of Michael B. Jordan as an actor in general. Definitely not as a fucking director. This has so much because supposedly he was put up for director by the producer, the son of the original IP owner. I just don't have it in my notes. You know him?
Irwin Winkler.
Yeah. And to me, all I could think of is this is just a way to jerk off your star to make sure you just keep turning out those sweet films. Now they talk about having the Creediverse, and I'm just oh my God, everything about this fucking movie and its franchise is fucking awful. And unfortunately, I really wanted to like this franchise, going right back to Creed 1. I recently watched all the films. I was I like the idea in some respects, but the idea of moving away from Rocky Balboa's shadow, but being able to, and Sylvester Stallone, and being able to do this. This fucking whole franchise is shit. But we can talk a bit about Creed 3. Am I jealous of him? He's a fucking he's not a great director. There's nothing great about this film. But we're gonna take this apart one by one with some punches and hooks and uppercuts. Did you watch this in the theater?
Yeah, I did. And let me tell you, I think part of my enjoyment of this movie was watching it in theaters. Now, did you not watch it in theaters, or did you
D-box it?
No, we didn't do D-box. We just went to normal theater here, local theater.
Uh-huh.
And there's nothing like the fucking enjoyment of going into a movie that's coming out when it's the last week before it comes out of the theaters, and in your row a 74-year-old man is getting jerked off by his wife, and then he decides to let everybody know that he came when the music goes down and all you hear is the
Nice.
No way
100%. It took all of my power.
You heard it here first on Scott Cock.
It took all of my power not to fucking laugh my ass off as much as I wanted to.
So I think you probably had a much more exciting film to watch than I did then. I watched it at home. I purposely paid the 20 some odd dollars because I was not loving the two Creed films coming into this. I just was like, well, if I don't like it, at least I'm at home. It was worth the 20 some odd dollars to watch it at home, so I could eventually go on my phone and start looking at doing my notes for this show while I was still stuck watching. Like, it yet again, another film, even at I think it's only an hour and 54 minutes. I'm like, it's too fucking long, man. The ending of this film, like most Rocky films, should have ended in the ring. That like whole section where he goes out and he talks to his buddy, then he's got his fucking kid in the ring. I'm like, what is going on here? Just cut that shit. Like, that right there shows me that like the director had like, this film tried to tell so many fucking, not only did it try to tell a whole bunch of stories at the same time, it tried to rip off like as many fucking Rocky movies as it could at the same time while telling all these fucking stupid stories. And to be honest, I don't give a shit about Adonis Creed, because other than like his hard life before he was like 12, he's basically the Fresh Prince of fucking Bel-Air. Like, fuck that guy, fuck his rich ass. Like, he fucking whines like a fucking bitch with a skin knee throughout the fucking series. In Creed 2, when Rocky's like, I can't help you train Drago, like to fight Drago's son, he gets his fucking ass handed to him. And then he's just like, man, Rocky, this is your fault, man. I'm like, fuck you.
Ah, get mom! 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 Mom!
And Michael B. Jordan as a heavyweight fighter is never believable in my mind. Never.
I don't know. He's pretty ripped. Like,
yeah. Well, you know who does look like a fucking heavyweight fighter is Jonathan Majors, man. He's got.
He's in. I was gonna say his next film too. I think it opens around Christmas for award season. Is all about like bodybuilding. And I don't know the name. I'm not on it right now, but I can check while we're doing it. But yeah, it's like all about like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger like bodybuilding competitions, and they release like the preview image, and he looks fucking ripped to shit.
Well, and it's not just the size, right? Like Jonathan Majors, like he has almost that like aggressive, predatory, hard man look. Like Michael B. Jordan, like just always looks like a bit of a bitch. Like, and it's, I feel like it's in his contract again. So I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to the Rocky series. And to me, the Rocky series ends with 4. The rest of the 5 sucks with Tommy Gunn and all.
What? I don't hear no bell, Tommy. I hear no bell. A street fight? Come on. Rocky doing the leg, like scissor kick? That's where Rocky 6 should have gone. He should have been like, fuck boxing. I'm going
MMA.
He's like, I'm doing bum fights against Kimbo Slice. That should have been number 6.
So
go ahead.
If you look at like the type of damage that Rocky takes in his films, like he looks fucking punched out, like beat up. Adonis Creed never, even like when he's supposedly losing, he doesn't look like fucked up from the fight. And it's almost like, it's like, you know how The Rock has in his contract he can't like ever lose a fight in his movies? It's like Michael B. Jordan's just like, I always gotta look fucking pretty. Okay, you gotta say, otherwise you might as well just go home, because I'll just do my own podcast.
No, like, does this movie have flaws? Yes.
I would argue, does this film have any redeeming qualities? Not the opposite. It's mostly flaws.
No, it does have redeeming qualities.
Such
like
as
Mila Davis Kent, who plays Amara Creed. I think she did an amazing job. And I do like that her being deaf herself. It was never like shown on screen as a weakness. It was just everyday life, right? Like, you know, nothing.
Okay, so listen, and I actually I love the fact that a deaf actor is being cast as a deaf person and it's not being shown as a diminutive. Why the fuck is her daughter deaf? Just because she had some degenerative hearing? Like, I just didn't understand the like logic of using that in the film. Like, why did they make that character deaf? Like, what was the point of doing that?
Why
Like, how does it move the story along? Other than to be honest, it looked like a fucking gimmick is what it looked like.
I don't know, man. I did appreciate it, and I liked how they they actually did like in Coda, where a section of the films are in sign language, and you can see it, them learning that and everything like that. But that's the thing, like, why is any child born deaf? You can have two
Sure,
two
but
kids.
in a film, you are telling a story that is written down. It is not real life. So what was the reason? What was the creative choice around that? Also, you know what else a lot of deaf people are able to do? Read fucking lips. So like there's times when they're basically talking to her and he's like getting his buddy to sign to her because like the idea that like she wouldn't be able to fucking read this fucking dude's lips. Anyway, I felt it very gimmicky, but yes, the actor did a fantastic job. Keep going.
Okay. Now, I think Jonathan Majors, awesome.
Yes,
awesome job.
Yes, he is one of the 100% redeeming qualities. And Tessa Thompson, actually, she did a great job as well.
But I do have some issues with. I think in terms of does this movie has flaws? Yes, I think part of it was script, and I think it started at the script. And number two, the thing that I think in terms of flaws, what should have been, the highlight of this film, like it's the highlight of every fucking Rocky film, I think
it's the training montage.
The training montage blew on this one.
Oh, it was awful. Actually, none of the training montages in the Creed series. I just went back and watched Rocky 4. Man, that is the fucking most awesome.
You can't compare that. That's the that is like that's the gold standard.
So Rocky films, the first 4 Rocky films are broken to me into 2 categories. 1 and 2 are dramas, 3 and 4 are action films, and they are perfect in every way in their genre. Like fucking Rocky 4 is the fucking bomb. Keep going.
Yeah, like him, going, I'm going old school and having like the fucking tree trunk and going through the woods or into the snow, training there. While,
and then the Soviets using like steroids.
They're like, 100%. That's the gold standard of montage.
And that like amazing 80s rock and roll, like
Rocky 5 would have been 90s, but sure.
Rocky 4 though, it's Rocky 4. It's the late 80s.
Still would have been 90s, man.
It's not 90s. It's like 86 or something. The fucking Cold War is still going on, and the wall came down in 89. So get with your fucking history, buds.
Yeah, because it's like in Glorious Bastards, they had to go back to show that it was Rocky's the reason that
the war ended.
You're right. You're right. 85.
I know my geopolitical history. So keep going. So what the script was bad.
Yeah. See, I think the script is it started to lay out, where the drama was gonna come at the end or during it, where it was like it's gonna lay out the verbiage, when he's like, when he goes to like Tessa, when Jonathan Majors, they're at the party and they go to Tessa Thompson's character, and he was like, how does it feel to have somebody else, sing your songs for you? And then she's like, it's good because of everything that was happened. I've moved on. And then 20 minutes later, she has that, like, it just seemed rush and pace, like, I fucking hate that other people do it and I can't do it. I wanna, right?
But can we actually even just talk about the story of the fighters? So dude gets out of jail after 18 years. Okay, so even the timeline seemed weird because Rocky 2, Adonis Creed is fighting Drago's son, okay? And so they have that's the big bad, and that's the point of the story. And then what are we, like 18 years later? Like how many years? Well, how many years later are we that Adonis Creed is supposedly because he's retiring. They
I think it's like 5. I think it's 5 from the first one.
So he had a 5-year boxing career and then he retired?
Yeah, because he's fucking smart. He didn't want to end up like Rocky.
Okay, well, what about Money Mayweather? How long was his fucking career? And he was like
technically, it's still going on with his
but nobody showed up. Okay, so then we're talking about Drago again because he's trying to set up another fight for Drago. And
they're friends. Like technically, the ending of this movie was going to be the ending of Rocky 2. Or sorry, Creed 2, in
yeah.
which they met after and, realized they hashed it out that their father's dramas isn't
Yes,
their
and he has to
dramas.
keep fucking doing that. He has to keep that. Same with the end of this one. Like I said, it should have ended in the ring. It's supposed to be a fucking
Which
boxing movie.
Creed
Stop trying
2
to do
did.
what's that? Yes. Stop trying to do like drama and action together and doing none of them well. So first off, I'm like, let's be honest, the only reason fucking Drago is in this is because they want to have the Creediverse and then go on do a Drago fucking spinoff. Like, instead of trying to write IP for a franchise, just write good fucking movies in the franchise. Just write them good, write them well, and let that carry the day. Don't try and put in fucking 900 fucking like they're Marvel. It's like the Marvelization of fucking franchise films. We got to have all these Easter eggs. We got to make sure all the characters are set up so that we can have their own fucking spin-off TV shows and their talk show and all this other fucking bullshit. Also, the fucking idea, I don't give a fuck how great a boxer you were 18 years ago. The idea that you're coming out of prison in within what, 2 months, 3 weeks? Again, the time on this film is way off. You beat the heavyweight champion of the world like to a fucking pulp. Even in the Rocky verse, that is fucking stupid. Okay, like that, it doesn't happen anywhere else. Go ahead, because I pulled fucking stats on the fictitious characters. Like I have Rocky, Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, and Ivan Drago's fucking stats in front of me. So let's fucking go.
But wasn't Ivan Drago's debut against Apollo Creed?
Okay, so I knew you were gonna bring that up. It was his professional debut, but he was an Olympic gold medal fighter, and depending on what stats, he either had 100.
So you're saying
whoa,
Olympics didn't test for drugs in the 80s?
What are you talking about?
Well, if Drago was
there's a difference between a fucking Olympic boxer who's like true Olympic heavyweight boxer who comes out of his Olympic, like he finishes the Olympics, he's boxing competitively at the highest levels in the Soviet Union, books a fight in the United States, and a dude that got out of fucking jail. Okay, those are not the same.
But if I remember, the character of Dame, he also was like,
he was a Golden Gloves boxer when he was a kid
going to the Olympics, but then that
was his goal, to go to the Olympics 18 fucking years ago. Drago was at the Olympics, won the gold medal, came to America. He was fighting as a professional amateur, which is the whole, there was the whole conflict of like the Soviets really had professional fighters, but they were competing in the Olympics. Like, you cannot compare the amateur career of Ivan Drago with fucking Jonathan Major's characters like Dame. Like,
yeah, I can't compare.
One's a fucking bum
they're fucking fictitious. They're both fictitious characters.
Yeah, but they're fictitious characters that exist in a world that is being created,
but
which shows
how do you know that?
Go ahead.
There's 18 years. He could have been the, American penal system champion, right? They box each other. Like, they have boxing things. I read Danny Trejo's book, and he was training boxers in jail when he was in fucking jail.
You know what they don't do? They don't come out and beat the fucking heavyweight champion of the world. So
but he was doing the dirty tricks.
So the reality is this originally was supposed to be Clubber Lang's son. That was the original conversations when Sylvester Stallone was still attached to the bar. Also, the whole like everybody's got to be the son of someone Rocky fought is also fucking stupid. Just make up some new characters.
And that's why they didn't go that way, right? Because then it's just literally, I'm gonna rehash fucking every Rocky villain.
But basically,
their son.
He is Clubber Lang. He's supposed to be the like, Adonis Creed has gotten too soft. They're trying to take too much Rocky mythology, squeeze it down, and put it all in these films. Like the broken hand, and I'm not going to say who breaks their hand. Why does Apollo Creed originally fight Rocky in the original Rocky? Because his opponent broke his hand, and then the fight's already booked. So Apollo then goes looking for another fighter, and that's when he gives Rocky Balboa the chance. But Rocky Balboa was not an amateur. Rocky Balboa was a professional fighter with a professional career. He had 44 wins, 38 of them by knockout, but he was a club fighter, but he was a pro. Again, we've got dude coming out of jail that's never had a fucking professional fight ever, beating the world heavyweight champion. Like, get the fuck out of here. Just do better fucking writing, man. Like, fuck.
Yes. Sometimes, like I said, I think the writing was, it tried to fast track everything, in which gave it like the defaults, but it was still an enjoyable movie. Like, even still, when
No, it was
like
not
they had that
enjoyable.
conversation,
Like,
I enjoyed it.
what did you like about
I'm
it?
saying, like, even like, but like I said, like in terms of the faults, like in terms of the writing, like the one scene where, you know, when he first comes back and then they go out for dinner, and then literally he starts telling him how he was writing him the whole time, and he was like, oh, I never got those letters, and he goes, where were you sending it to him? And then he gave the, you know,
The
Mama
mom in Bel
Creed's
Air,
address, and he goes, yeah, she still lives there. That plot point is not picked up until 45 minutes later, when she brings him the letters, and then he gets upset. I'm like, but in timeline of the movie, it's been like 3 months. It's like he said it, he forgot about it, and then, oh, now he's upset about it.
Yeah, he didn't just like you figure he would have like left and like called his mom and been like, did you
Like
get a bunch of
that
letters?
night, because
yeah.
she goes, his wife's like, where were you? He's like, oh, I met up with an old friend of mine, Dame, and then she had the face, and then that really should have been where the conversation happened, right? But the whole fact too, I think there were some stuff that were said, which I hope is, if they are making a Creed 4 and
They
shit
will.
like
They're
that.
gonna make this. Listen, okay. So this thing had a fucking $75 million budget. It's done 253 million at the box office. Who knows how much it's gonna do on streaming? Probably tons. So let's even do the 50%. So we've got 125 as your budget with your marketing. You're still made fucking over $125 million. They are 100% gonna they're gonna milk this fucking cow until we're like Creed 10 goes to Manhattan, fights Jason.
It won't be, well, I guess Creed will be Amara, and then she'll be facing what was Buster Lang? What was Mr. T's character?
Oh yeah, Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang. She'll be facing his granddaughter.
Yeah.
But like, the one thing I liked is when him and Mama Creed had the argument, and he was saying how, you know, he never felt like at home because the other Creed children like pretty much made him an outcast. We've never seen the other kids.
No.
We've seen them in the Rocky,
We've
but
seen
not
them in Rocky,
in,
and they're basically just swimming in the pool and shit, right? That, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
but you haven't seen them in the Creed verse, right? Like, you figure there are that drama, that animosity kind of thing really should be like, you see the Mama Creed, she takes him in, and then that's it. Like, and then even this flashback here, it's him in his like souped up room crossing like fucking fences, but there's never any interaction with these kids.
Yeah.
Like his siblings, right? Which, you know, you would think, based on
if it
what
was
they're
such an
writing
important
here,
like aspect of like his development and feeling like an outcast, that there should be them picking on him. Creed v Creed or something. Well, like, you're not a real
right? Because
Creed.
wasn't
Your mama was a whore. You know, our mama was his wife or something like that. That's fucking, yes. There's some real drama you could build into that.
because Creed 2, like, there's Christmas, right? Wasn't there, or was that Creed 1 where there was like a Christmas scene, and it's him with Rocky and Mama Creed and then Tessa Thompson's character, but these other kids never show up.
Yeah.
It's just like Rocky's
the ones
kid.
that really would have been like, Rocky would have felt like their uncle to them because they like grew up with Rocky and his son.
And his kids, yeah. But you don't see, yeah, like that. I hope they do if they're making a Creed verse. Kind of go out. Look at these guys right here.
So,
look
and then
these,
as
these guys.
Sorry, I want to jump on this other point right away. Is that so when they asked Michael B. Jordan, like, oh, where'd you get some influences? He was like manga and all this bullshit.
Before you go there, shut the fuck up.
I mean, you.
Just shut your mouth. Because I like manga.
That's fine. But like, so they have this like surreal section when they're fighting in the end. And I'm like, the fuck is going on here? This is stupid. This is, again, like, either he's like, I'm trying to be artistic, but I'm not really artistic, or this is out of some manga bullshit, but it doesn't really work with the film. And it just, I was like,
I know what you're talking about, like when the
when the cage
the crowd
comes
goes
up,
away,
yeah, it's fucking
and
stupid.
it goes all green screen, right? And then then he every punch is him fighting against like what he thinks this guy went through.
Yeah, he should watch
I
more
get
like
it.
quality film and stop watching cartoons, and then maybe he'll make better fucking movies.
No, I'm mad. I'm really, really mad. And now it's time to pay!
Them fighting words. But like to me, I checked like that whole sequence too. I thought was really kind of off because it took away, like for myself, kind of the pace it was going in terms of the fight with the crowd
Yeah.
getting into it,
Yes.
and everything like that. So I'm like, did they film this during lockdown, and this
COVID or
is
something
how?
like that?
Yeah, but then I'm like, no, they started in January 2022, so pretty much majority of the lockdowns were done. And I was trying to research if they did lock it down, like film it in lockdown, but that's what I thought too, because there was a lot of like green screen in terms of where the arena was, and to me, like that took me out because it was very evident that it was on a green screen.
I had, so the biggest challenge for me was for some, like, so this has got an 89% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes and 96 from the audience. So when I was trying to find my quote, I'm like, everybody was like, this movie's fucking awesome. This is like critics. And I'm like, did you guys watch the same fucking movie as me? Like, what the fuck? Get your fucking head out of your ass.
Are you stupid or something? I'm as stupid as stupid does.
So the best I could find was Sarah Michelle Fretters from moviefreak.com said, Majors dominates, prowling through each scene as if he were a sly, observantly carnivorous velociraptor, craftily stalking its prey. And I think that Majors does an amazing job in this. I guess the smartest thing Michael B. Jordan does is just keeps the fucking camera on him, because he fucking owns every fucking scene he's in. He's so fucking badass. He should have been Adonis Creed. Like, when I see this guy now, like, I'm like, they should have cast this fucking guy, because Michael B.
But
Jordan
I think they have, like, I think now Adonis has technically his oh my god, what's the dad's name?
Which dad? Apollo?
Like, yeah, he has his Apollo now. Now he has his like formal rival that is now going to be helping him in terms of training.
Whatever. I just mean
that is who
the actor
Dave
fucking should have been cast. Jonathan Majors should have been cast as fucking Creed in the first place, but unfortunately the director worked on, what is it, Fruitvale Station with Michael B. Jordan, and so that's how he got pulled in, and now we're stuck with this fucking guy. Jonathan Majors, man, like, he was in Hostiles, White Boy Rick, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, The Five Bloods, The Harder They Fall, and he was in Devotion, which is also kind of an awful film. But if you want to know how awful, you can go and listen to our podcast on that.
Okay. Do it. Do it.
All right.
We did Devotion. Oh yeah, we did do Devotion.
Yeah, that's how forgettable that fucking film was.
Oh yeah,
Top Gun Korea style.
But he also, like, he is I'm gonna say this, but don't, like, it's you're gonna have to take it kind of out of context. And what I mean is he is I think a movie star. And what I mean in terms of movie star is like old school, like when he's on the screen, like
true leading man is what you mean.
Yeah,
I know
like,
what you mean, man.
Like he like, even in The Five Bloods, right, where he was technically the comic relief in that movie, like he took it over. Like you gravitate towards him, like every movie that I've seen him in.
I've been dubbed many names by many people. A ruler, a conqueror, he who remains.
He's like Sidney Poitier or Brad Pitt or whatever.
Quentin Tarantino in like from Dusk Till Dawn.
Oh,
You
yeah.
just gravitate towards him.
It's really glad. I'm actually really glad that Quentin Tarantino doesn't really do any acting. Like every time he acts in his films, you're like, this is the worst part of this movie. Like when he did his Australian accent in Django Unchained, you're like, oh, okay, go away, Quentin, go away. Just go back behind the camera.
But yeah, like, and that's what I mean. Like I'm gonna make some predictions. I'm gonna make some bold predictions here. One, he gets nominated for Best Supporting next year's Oscar. Two, Michael B. Jordan gets director.
Whoa. Like an Oscar?
No, nominated. I'm just saying the nomination.
Get the fuck out of here. It's way too fucking early in the season. It's like fucking the Oscars just ended. So that festival run's not. Get the fuck out of here. They are not giving this fucking clown a first film he's ever directed a fucking Oscar nod. You
didn't they do that
fine.
for Affleck at Argo?
Ooh, that's a good point. I'll have to look into that. Fuck, I hope not. Otherwise, like the Oscars.
I'm just saying, in terms of nominees, like, and there's a shit ton of nominees, right?
There's usually like 5, so that's the shit ton. There's 5.
But I'm gonna say he gets nominated for director. I think 100% Majors gets nominated for Best Supporting.
The fucking we're talking about the Oscars here. Yes. Creed 3 is gonna have this many Oscar nods.
You are high as a fucking kite.
Did Creed 1 not have the same?
I don't think so. Did it have any?
Sylvester Stallone for Best Supporting.
That's one.
Coogler for director, and I believe Creed 1 was up for Best Picture too.
I don't know. Maybe our producer can fucking look into that. How many Oscar nominations Creed 1 had? Okay, keep going with your fucking fantasy fucking football here, buds.
It's not fantasy, man. I'm telling you. Like that's the thing. They're already starting. I know you're saying the season's over. Like the whole reason why Amazon
doesn't matter.
Studios,
it's going to Christopher Nolan for fucking Oppenheimer anyway. So
no, it's not. I haven't even watched the movies, but I can guarantee you,
buddy, Cillian Murphy, black and white, Christopher Nolan, boom, it's going to win all the Oscars. That's my prediction. Do you have anything else to actually say about this fucking movie? While our producer looks up that information.
Yeah, I would say rent it. If you want to enjoy yourself. It's a good popcorn film, right? And like, so listen, boring. if you really want to watch it and just be a middle-aged, out of shape man, and just look at what your life could have been if you actually hit the gym once in a while, like it'll do good. It'll do good for you. It motivates you. That's why I'm wearing this. After this, I'm gonna go sit on the couch and watch some people do CrossFit.
I would argue that if you want to watch Creed 1 has one nomination for Best Supporting Actor, and that's Sylvester Stallone, and that's basically an Oscar given to him. First off, his performance in it was very good, and it's like a legacy award at that point, right? Like, remember, he got it. Did he win the Oscar for Best Screenplay for the original Rocky?
Maybe screenplay, but he didn't get anything for
Still not bad, writing a fucking script and going right to the Oscars. There are much better boxing movies. First off, Rocky 1 through 4, all better movies than any of these films in the series. Southpaw is a shitty movie, but the boxing's way better. Or watch The Fighter. The Fighter's awesome. Watch Warrior. Like fucking
Warrior's pretty good. There is a boxing movie. I haven't watched it, but it's on my queue with Ben Foster.
Like I love Ben Foster. Yeah,
like it's like a World War II kind of era boxer, like during World War II. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, but it does. The trailer does look good, but it's out.
Just look up Ben Foster's IMDb and then look at the one that looks like a boxing movie. Yeah, man. Like seriously, I would wait till this comes out on streaming, like non-paid streaming. Put it on if you want to, like, make, because you've watched all the other films in the franchise. I want to actually, and if you're listening to this, let me know what you think, because I thought it was a fucking pile of dog shit. And Michael B. Jordan should not be put in. Michael B. Jordan, what's his name there? Michael B. Jordan's sort of like Cuba Gooding Jr., except smaller. Like, there's nothing believable about this man as a tough guy. He's like Ryan when they put Ryan Gosling as a tough guy role. I'm like,
have you seen Gladiator?
Gladiator.
Have you
like,
seen Gladiator?
Like Gladiator, like Russell Crowe Gladiator, like
No,
that
the
Gladiator.
first fucking Gladiator movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Brian Dempsey.
No,
and
I have
which is
no
all
idea what
about-
movie you're talking about right now.
All about underground boxing.
Oh, okay.
Cuba Gooding, and it's like high school kids. So
That's
Cuba
great.
Gooding
Yeah,
Jr.
you know what? I'll tell you right now, like Cuban Gooding Jr., anytime they put him in a tough guy role and he's like, I'm here to be a tough guy, Cuban Gooding Jr. I'm like, no. The only person
Oh
who can
my
pull off that
God.
voice is Mike Tyson because he's the fucking champ. He will always be the fucking champ, heavyweight champion of the fucking world, Mike Tyson.
Come on, man. Come on. And that is our wrap for the day. Please like and subscribe to this podcast. Tell your friends. If you want to get a hold of us, reach us at the www.howdyoulikethatmovie.com.
So, I mean, yeah, in the sideshow here, when we're talking about being top critics, you know what I realized is like, I wonder what the man that was being jerked off thought about the film that you just watched, Scott.
Oh, he was enjoying it. He enjoyed it.
He's like, it was explosive.
But that was the thing, like driving home, I literally thought about that man's day.
Who did you watch? I hope your kids weren't with you this time.
It was my nephew,
Oh, no.
because he's into the movie. So yeah, so I took my nephew. So like dropping off my nephew, I literally thought about that guy's day, and he was like, you know, he woke up, took a shower, ate, and he was like, oh fuck, we're going to the movies.
Production by Rod Shaver, Vader Monkey Productions.